Hey creative minds and business enthusiasts, welcome to Looks Like We Made It. I'm Izzy, head of production here at Howell Media and one half of our father-daughter duo alongside my dad Chris, our managing director. Together we're diving into the world of content creation, video marketing and all things creative. Each episode we share real stories, expert tips and the odd laugh along the way. This week we're talking all about AI and its impact, and we're joined by the awesome John Forth, co-founder and director of Is This You? Let's go!
Fantastic, let's do it.
Wow.
Hello, John.
Hi.
Welcome back.
Hi, Howell Magic Team.
Howell Magic Team. And
Back in the hot seat.
welcome back.
Yeah.
You didn't scare me off.
No,
Yeah.
you can't get enough of us.
Yeah,
We
love it.
are like
Absolutely
a
love
couple
it.
of bookends here.
Yeah.
I'm sandwiched between two bald men.
Yeah, I'm the mini me. And, you got Chris has brought his thing.
Yeah, no, it's all right, don't worry, keep going. Talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, I'm
there we
back,
go.
I'm back.
You're back.
He's
I'm
back.
back.
He's back.
You can trust my mic voice.
I can trust you.
But thank you for coming on again, John. We really appreciate it, and we've got so much to talk about in the world of AI. So we talked obviously before you came on the show about how AI is absolutely booming at the minute, and you've kind of become the AI expert that we know.
Well, that you know is the key suffix to that sentence actually. But
You're now Mr. AI, not
Mr.
Mr.
AI.
Sunderland.
I mean, yeah, I've been involved in AI for some time now. I'm not a techie, if you like, but obviously I'm a business owner and a business advisor and a mentor, and I've hosted a big event which was the Growth Lab AI event. So I learned a lot from that. I actually had a hologram of myself speak in Mandarin at one point and answering questions in a Macam accent, and to be honest, the Mandarin was more authentic than the Macam. But yeah, apparently that's going to come. So yeah, done a lot of AI and implemented a lot of AI in my business, and also in my role at the BIC, we've implemented a lot of AI, and clients are asking about it constantly.
Mm-hmm.
So how in your opinion, how scared, how excited, how motivated should people be? Like is it that's a big question.
Big
obviously.
question.
But so obviously, in our business there are some and in life in general some real benefits, but like how do like in the event you ran as an example, were people there going, I've got to learn about this because it's going to impact me, or were people there going, this is great, I want to get on board? What was the general sort of feeling?
It was a mix. I think we've definitely spoken to, especially people in the creative industries, where I've spoken to one attendee who said, I was so worried about AI before this event. And now this has shown me how I can use AI to really elevate what I'm doing, to empower me to be more creative, to be more productive. And I've also spoken to another creative who said they've lost business through AI because clients were coming to them to do certain tasks, certain projects. And now AI has got to a certain level where the client has decided to give it a go on their own. Now, whether that actually comes to fruition and they get the end result that a human would have got, we don't know. But at this point in time, they've decided to pause and investigate what AI can do. So I think it's a mixed bag. But there are certain things I feel that businesses and employees should be doing to embrace AI, and because it's coming. It's not coming, it's here. And it's going to rapidly increase. The AI revolution is here. And I think everybody has to embrace it because there's nothing they can do about it.
Yeah.
It's happening.
They're not just going to switch it off and then that's it.
Exactly.
We're going back to it.
Exactly.
But I think with AI is that in our creative world, and I do a lot of coaching related to creative content and making content, etc. You drank your coffee in unison at the same time.
We are. Well, because I'm the AI version of John.
Yeah.
Two mugs. But the reason why I think that I think I see people coming to me like I'm some kind of priest in a confession box when they admit that they use AI. When they use it, they say almost like a dirty word, like, "Oh, I used ChatGPT to create this or write this." And I personally think it's fantastic if it's used in a way that doesn't replace what you're going to do, but instead enhances what you're going to do. And I think there's a massive difference between the two insofar as the sixth sense for quality. People know in a creative stance, there's almost like a reality that the critical thinking is still very, very important when it comes to using AI, is making sure that you use it to enhance what you already were going to do, if that makes sense.
No, it does make sense. And I think as well, I can't speak for any other industry than ours, insofar as, I can't imagine what it's doing for health, for engineering, for scientific applications. That's quite extraordinary. Obviously, we can only look at it from professional filmmaking, from creative stuff, from the training things we do. We can only look at a kind of a small part of it. And if it's having that sort of impact on other businesses and across the board, it's actually it's incredible. And I think people are right to be concerned, but also should be excited and actually explore the opportunities that are out there as well. Because I think that there's a real danger that people will sit back and go, well, I'm gonna be the Luddite, and I'm gonna be the person that's not going to accept that it's here. And I think in reality, it's those people who are going to really, really, really struggle. Yeah. I think it's the ones that embrace it and say it is a changing landscape. And as I'm fond of saying, or we've said, that this is as bad as it's ever going to be. So right here, right now, is as bad as AI is ever going to get. So in 2 years' time, 2 months' time, 5 years' time, it'll be a completely different landscape again. Yeah. So I think that history. God, I'm laying some big things out here. Yeah. But history has proven, hasn't it, that those that get on board are the ones that will succeed and go along with it, 100%. And those that don't won't.
100%. I mean, I'm old enough to say when I started my first business, I was young when I first started my business. That there was no email, there was no internet. So one of my first businesses was actually selling the internet to businesses. And I would get a room together. I remember one of the most standout ones was a room on Princess Street in Edinburgh, the Caledonian as it was then. And I had a big ballroom, and I had hundreds of businesses there selling the internet. And they looked at me like I was selling snake oil, and
It'll never catch on.
Yeah. And some businesses did, and they flourished, and some businesses didn't, and they died. And I think what we need to realise is that this change is all encompassing, and it's throughout every industry. And I think those who embrace it now and get on board and upskill with it and look at their businesses and their roles if they're employees, and really sort of sit back and say, well, how can I improve what I do using AI? And because the big issue is, and the big worry people have is, will AI take my job? And I think to reframe that in terms of probably not, but the person who can conduct AI will take your job. Yeah. And that's the thing, because going forward, employers, and it's really expensive to employ people now. It's, with the NI increases, they're going to want maximum productivity and efficiency. And using AI, if you are skilled in AI, then you can be super efficient and super productive, and it gives you that competitive edge. So, and I think businesses who don't embrace AI now will fall away, because it's just, it's the only way for especially small to medium-sized businesses to actually compete is to have that productivity.
Well, you're fundamentally inefficient, aren't you? If you don't embrace AI now, you're already at a disadvantage, because everything you do, it makes you less efficient than the other business who's using AI.
And I don't think it's ever gonna. I mean, at this current stage, we'll have to go back to this episode in a few years' time and be like, where are they now?
We'll all be holograms.
Yeah. Speaking Mandarin.
I've already been hologram.
Maybe you are right now. Yeah. But I think that as well with is it going to take my job? Is it going to do this? Is that AI makes you more. It makes me more productive. It makes people more productive, or can make tasks a lot quicker that normally you'd have to pay a staff member to do over maybe a set period of days or hours or whatever it may be. It's not so much that there's going to be job losses. I think it's more about the jobs adapt and they do different things. So it's like if you're going to have someone who is a marketing executive in your business, they're not going to be spending 3 days of that week making posts. They're going to maybe spend 3 days of that week doing a strategy on different things or more or different platforms. So,
but I do think the conductor part of it is really important, because people, like in our world, people say, well, AI tools can make me films, and that's great. You knock yourself out. But fundamentally, if you don't know how to structure a story, if you don't know how to create, if you don't know why you're making it, having a tool that can do it for you, well, it's a dumb thing. Yeah. It's like, there are any number of analogies you can have. It's a bit like I can go and get an easel and a canvas and a load of oil paints, but I'm not Picasso just because I've got the kit. Ultimately, I think that the reality is you still need the conductor to pull the thing together. But if you've then got the machine that can do it,
I think that's where the value is.
And I also think that the like as an example right here of the cameras we've got set up here, a couple are actually AI cameras, and people would say to us, well, oh, does that mean that you're not hiring camera operators because you've got AI cameras? And I would say that's totally the opposite. What we've got our camera operators doing really, really interesting stuff. Doing
while these ones get to film us doing the podcast.
Well, these ones get to do the boring podcast.
Nobody volunteers.
No, exactly. But what I'm saying is, say on an event or whatever, that actually the camera guys are doing really, really sort of human-facing things. They're talking. They're doing really sort of interesting shots. Whereas they don't have to stand behind a camera all day.
Yeah, I mean, in what we do, and I think in the same as every industry out there, there's the exciting, colourful, fun stuff and the not so fun, workhorsey stuff, and the stuff like when it comes to live events, standing behind a camera, moving it side to side. If I can have a human being doing something else that's creative, exciting, fast-paced, versus doing this all day,
and also in our world as well, that the actual filming bit only forms a very small part of it. There's a huge amount of pre-production, a huge amount of post-production, and again, if AI can take some of the heavy lifting, particularly for the pre-production, the risk assessments and all that sort of stuff. Well, in reality, that's makes us a far more efficient business, makes us far more attractive to our customers. We can, we can put packages together that suit their budgets. So actually, I think that used correctly, AI is so exciting.
How do you? Sorry to interrupt. But I was just going
to
to say,
we're just talking about
you just sit and watch. But I was going to say, in terms of coaching and in Is This You and in what you do as well, because you basically will help people and support people and do loads of different things related to really getting people focused on their business and really kind of firing them up. Do you think some people will just go, I don't have to get coached, I can just get AI to coach me and stuff like that, and because you can tell AI to enact certain roles. You can say to AI, be a life coach for me and tell me what I do in my future. Do you think that is going to be a thing, or how do you think that Is This You is going to develop in using AI?
Great question, and I think this comes back to human connection, and I feel that AI in a lot of roles and a lot of business tasks, etc. AI is good for about 80%, but it's that top 20%. It's that finesse, it's that connection, it's that experience, it's that real kind of emotional intelligence that people have that AI doesn't have, and it can try and replicate it, but I don't think it will ever replace that. So I think, as is his issue, people there are a lot of coaches out there, and if AI is a competitor, then fine. People come to be coached by Is This You because of the personality of the founders, because of the experience, because they trust us, and I think AI sort of levels the playing field in terms of knowledge. Anyone can have the knowledge to do or portray themselves to have the knowledge to do anything now. You can literally have a few prompts and you pretty much know how to do brain surgery. You've got a step-by-step approach to that.
I wouldn't trust anyone doing it that way.
But you know what I mean? You can almost get a rudimentary sort of step-by-step approach to doing virtually anything. As you mentioned there, doing a feature film. You could probably get that step-by-step. But it's having the experience And it's also when you're actually pushing that out. When someone comes for coaching or wants business development, it's a very personal relationship. And it's, how do they trust what they're being told, or how they're being coached, or how do they know what results have been achieved in the past by the coachees? And with AI, you can get the fundamentals, but you're not going to get that.
What? An AI is never going to put an arm around your shoulder and say, "Are you all right, mate?" Or look, is it? Ultimately, it's not. I think there's a.
You might have a robot do that. It's not going to feel the same. It's not going to
you know what I mean? Like there's a because I think that's the other thing that when we. When sort of after the pandemic, when we're all online and everything, and I think that there is a real craving for people to interact. That's why big concerts are doing so well. That's why Oasis can fill massive stadiums everywhere. Because I think there's still an urgency and a need for people wanting to be together. Perhaps not 80,000 of us with beer being chucked on us, but ultimately there is I think that connection, and that will never be taken over by
because we're human. No. And fundamentally we want to connect with other humans, and we get inspired and motivated. I can't see AI inspiring and motivating someone. I can't see AI making someone accountable. I can't see AI when you're looking for a coach or you're looking for a business mentor. You can go to AI, but what is that going to give you really? Other than you can read a business book. It's there. The information is there. It's how it's actually implemented and how it's actually structured, and then the accountability is huge. But we've just launched our academy, so we're having the first cohort. And you're actually on it, Izzy.
Very excited.
But the people on there it's an unbelievable lineup of people from all over the world, from so many industries, so much experience, so many contacts.
And me.
And is he making up the numbers?
But honestly, I mean, you're going to be a massive part of it. I just know it.
Oh, okay.
But what we'll have there is connection like you won't believe, and opportunity. So you are in the room that with people who can introduce you to the people who you need to be introduced to, who can open doors, who can bring opportunity. Yeah, I can't do that. And so it's for me, when you're looking at AI and you're looking at, okay, how do I position myself going forward? One is become extremely well versed in AI and be able to coach AI to get the most out of your role, your business, your team, etc. Understand that. Then the second one is the human approach and I'll come back to personal brand, because in a couple of years' time, when everybody can post about everything and that knowledge sort of level is really, really high, who do people trust? Who are people going to trust? It's people who stand out because of their personal brand or their business brand. But there's lots of research saying that a personal brand is sort of 20 times more effective than a business brand now. You do need both, but you need know, like, and trust. It goes back to know, like, and trust. And I think if you've got that personal brand, and you can only get that with human connection, what you also need is you need them people skills. You need emotional intelligence. And I think if you are really au fait with AI, you've got a good, strong personal brand and people know, like, and trust you. And you can help and support and motivate and inspire people and work with people and get the best out of your team or get the best out of your colleagues. I think that's how you differentiate from AI.
Yeah, and sorry, I'm sorry to jump in, but I'm jumping in. I think that I'm intrigued to hear what you both think in terms of being a user of platforms and seeing AI generated content or seeing stuff being created, because I know people sometimes feel quite vulnerable when it comes to AI as users, because it's almost like it's quite disarming knowing you're not watching something that is effectively real, and it goes into that uncanny valley approach, and there's an instinct that tells you as a human that that's not human. And it breaks my heart sometimes when you look on Facebook and there's obviously an AI generated photo or video and people, bless them, are commenting going, oh, that's beautiful, that's amazing. Or like there was one where my daughter's obsessed with the chicken banana thing on YouTube, which is like a baby AI generated doing a dance dressed as a banana, and people are commenting going, that's incredible for a baby that age to do that. And you think, oh my God, that's of course that's not real, bless you. And it breaks my heart. But like sometimes I'll be looking at content or I'll be reading something or watching something and I'll be like, oh wow. And then I'll see the comments and stuff and people have gone, oh, you idiots, that's AI. And I'm like, oh no.
But I mean, well, can I just jump in?
Jump in.
All I'd say is though that the truth has been sort of manipulated and managed and spun for forever, for centuries. Stalin used to have people chopped off photographs and re-edited back in, or people he'd killed and then
You're like a
replaced
proper
them.
historian today.
I am, aren't I? It's AI, you see. But what I'm saying is that it's almost like it's like anything. It's just buyer beware, isn't it? And ultimately, it's like anything. If you like it and it floats your boat, it almost doesn't matter where it comes from. I'm a believer in real kind of openness and freedom of certainly, provided it's not damaging anybody and it's not hurtful, it's not hate speech or anything horrible like that. But ultimately, if you read it and you think I can get something from that, it's quite interesting, or you see it and you go, that's clever, that's sweet, or
You ever second guessing yourself though?
I don't care.
Yeah. Well, and that's it. Yeah, it's sort of does it really matter if it's doing the job that you want it to do? So if it's giving you information that you want, fair enough. If it's sort of a nefarious thing and there's anything sort of dark web behind it or whatever, then you really need to look out. And that is another area. But technology's been exploited since the start of the internet, and before that there was exploitation. I just think it's because it's so new and people are not as familiar with it, then it's having a heyday for exploitation using it.
I think it is. I think there's a real danger that it could exploit. People could use AI to exploit the vulnerable, exploit the elderly. Or be used against you.
But like any power,
well, it's making fraudulent calls now.
Yeah.
It's making calls, and it knows who that person is, and what to say about that person.
But any tool can be used for good and evil, I suppose.
Exactly.
Isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And it is. Yeah. I wonder how we've got the good and evil.
It's a very deep conversation, but I think that when people, so for someone who is listening to this and knows that they're surrounded by people mentioning AI, they have no idea what to do and where to go next. What would be your recommendation, both creatively, both business-wise, in business in general? Where can you see them doing their first step? What's the first thing to do?
You're sorry, Chris.
No. Well, I mean, I'd always argue that people should just safely try stuff. Just try some stuff. Just get on and have a play with it. Get on ChatGPT and just play with it. Just have a go and don't go too mad too soon. And also perhaps there's a safety in numbers as well. So if there's a couple of older people or whatever, just get your iPad out and have a play together and just sort of say, let's see what this thing can do for us.
Have an AI buddy.
An AI buddy.
An
AI buddy.
I mean, in Sunderland, there's digital hubs for those who haven't got sort of access to the technology. I know at the BIC that there's a lot of workshops that we're doing where it's for early stage businesses. We'll go through AI with them, so we'll talk about their first steps into AI. So, for instance, we'll do a little bit of market research for a fictional business and show the people how they can actually use it to add to their market research, but always with the caveat that you back this up with your own research, because AI can hallucinate. We've all heard the stories, and I've worked with legal companies in Is This You, and they're using it, but they're using it to a certain level, not to the level where they're getting legal arguments and things like that to go to trial with. Like, do you remember the story of the lawyer in America who took all the precedent and statutes and delivered them all in court, and they were all fictional and hallucinated AI, and he was disbarred.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I mean, you cannot take what you get as the final product. You've got to use it for ideas and for structure and to help you the way I look at AI is I look at it as a really good assistant, so I can ask it for tasks and information and structure that I need and I want to operate, and it gives me that. It gives me that.
I think you're right. I think it's interesting you mentioned though that there is a feeling like you're cheating a little bit. It's a bit like I was into mountain biking for forever, from my for really, really quite into mountain biking, and I was an early adopter of an electric mountain bike. Basically because I've bashed myself up so badly that, to actually ride a bike now, I need some sort of assistance. And it's amazing how many people on the trails will go, "Oh, you're cheating. Oh, you're not putting the effort in. Oh, you're a cheat." And actually think to yourself, well, my legs are still going around, and I'm still out here in nature. I'm still having a laugh, and it's none of your business. But ultimately, it's amazing how there's that thing. Well, you're cheating, and I think that's what you referred to earlier. They're like, well, if you get some assistance from whatever platform you're using, and you think, oh, well, I'm breaking the rules somewhere along the line here.
I've heard that on a workshop that I've been delivering on AI, and but it's cheating. So I was saying, well, do you use Google?
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, what's the difference?
This
is just like a Google on steroids.
They've not got a bunch of encyclopedias in the back of the car, have they?
Yeah, exactly. It's just technology has moved on. And what is the actual difference? But as well as if you don't embrace it, you are going to get left behind. And whatever you do, whether you're employed or whether you're a business founder or whatever it is, you are going to get left behind if you don't embrace it.
And I think there are inevitable casualties, because another example will be that, way back, I used to own a design agency, and we used to spend a significant amount of money each month on motorcycle couriers to deliver proofs to customers, and it was like a significant amount of money going out of the business, and we used to have a guy sat on his bike, and you run down and put it off and he'd shoot off, and then the customer would ring you and go, "Yeah, I've got the proof." And
it sounds so much more fun. Why don't we do that?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that ultimately it doesn't matter how much you rail against that, protest against it. Ultimately, that role was never going to exist when you could email a PDF to someone.
Well, you look at like the Christmas film Jingle All the Way, all about how the dad's trying to get a doll for his son for Christmas, but then that film is obsolete now in terms of concept, because you just order it on Amazon, it'd be over in 5 minutes. Right. But I think with AI I think it's made me sick, because I'm in my role at Howl Media. I do a bit of everything in the way that I can put up a camera and do some filming. I edit. I do some social media. We're kind of spinning a lot of plates, and I know a lot of businesses end up doing the same thing. A lot of business people end up doing the same thing. Is that I found it's given me such a wealth of time that it's made me so much more productive.
Have you got time on your hands?
Would you? No, I don't.
Just
put your hand up for a load of new jobs.
He's going home after this, so it's fine. But I find that I feel almost like it's made me more productive, because I think, right, I'm looking at my calendar, I've got a couple of hours free. AI has told me you should look at your SEO in this 2 hours. Oh, you should do this, you should do this. And there's a part of me that thinks, well, I kind of have to now, because it's not like I can't, if that makes sense. Like, oh, you're saying that I can just fix my email marketing in the next hour. Okay, well, I guess I should then.
I may as well do it.
Yeah. And so then I find that I'm getting more done. I'm sorting more stuff out, because I don't have any excuses anymore. I can't sit there and go, oh, I can't write 10 emails today. Oh, I don't know what to say in this reel. I don't know, because literally there's no such thing as that anymore. And I think that's quite, there's no excuses now or people have to find maybe more creative excuses to get away with not doing those things. But
I think for me, it's and we're talking about people who maybe haven't adopted or are scared of adopting it or really cautious. For me, what I've found is if you start to use whatever it is, whatever AI platform you want to use, instead of Google for a period of time, you start to get into asking AI for the result, and you will find that the results are so much more targeted to what you actually want, and then you start to converse with it. So you can converse with it. You can actually speak to it. Now I speak to mine. Don't ask us what I've called it. but yeah, you can go. It's very sweet. But you can converse with it, and you can question it, and it can go away and find information for you. So it's 1,000 more times effective than Google. And I think that's a starting point. And I think if you're thinking about your role in your business, your career, or whatever it might be, is to think about, well, sit back and think, well, what out of my tasks take the most amount of time, are repetitive, I do on a regular basis. could be done, and then what could I do with that time to be more effective? And I think if you can repurpose your time, that's huge. And the first step for me, and for the big, and for a lot of clients that I have, is to start recording their meetings. So you just do a transcription of a meeting, and then you can repurpose that into a proposal, to a quote. It's so easy. You should not be spending any length of time really taking the content of a conversation and retyping it up and repurposing it. That should be done in one go. So I think that is step one for me, is to really freeing up time by doing that. And that was the first step we did at the BIC. So, and advisors were saving sort of 2 hours per conversation, because they'd do a big lengthy conversation, take loads of notes, and then write it all up. It's crazy. So you've got one, and it's really rich as well, because when you take the conversation rather than the notes, you get some really rich information.
You've got a single point of truth as well, haven't
exactly.
you?
But then what do you do with that extra 2 hours? And that's the thing that people...
And that's the beauty of this.
Yeah.
So if you're a business owner, wow, you can... How much time can you save? So I would do a time audit. So I work with clients to do a time audit. Okay, so what can we do? What do we do, and how much time does it take, and what value has that time got? So if we're looking at tasks that are minimum value to the business, if you can automate them with AI, and you can free up that time to put into sales or business development or scaling in whichever way you want to do it, or recruitment or whatever that is, you can use your time so much better. If you're an employee, then be creative, because there will be a point at which AI will be introduced into your company. And if you are already skilled, and if you have already done the audit and you understand, right, well, maybe AI could do that amount of tasks, what could I do with the time? That exact question. And if you're going to your team leader, boss, whoever it is, a CEO, and saying, I've had to think about this, and what I think we can do is, if I can save an hour a day, this is what I could provide for this business. This is the added value I could give. You start to become indispensable. So you're forward thinking, you're strategizing about your role, almost treating your role like a business. And I think if you adopt that kind of approach, AI can enable you and really, really, elevate you.
That's really fascinating. And I suppose there's also the other angle that, you know what, you could use that hour to go and pick the kids up from school. You could use that hour to go and have a walk around the park. I mean, there's another mental well-being. There's a whole different side of things that we're so conditioned to, to have the nose to the grindstone the whole time. And interestingly, over the years, like when email came in and the internet came in and Macs came in, all that sort of stuff, we were all said, well, actually, it'll be fantastic because you're not writing letters anymore, using email, you'll be able to have 3 hours a day off. And then we do have a knack of just
finding ways to get out of it.
Finding ways to keep. We'll always work long hours. It's just the nature. It's certainly the nature of owning and running a business. Just the way it is. Yeah. One question I have got, John, is that you work with people on real high order people, 7-8 figure business founders, really successful people, and then down to, all the way through to people who are just kind of starting up or wherever. In the people you're working with, who are the most embracing and who are the most fearful of AI in the scale of top to, I'm not going to say top to bottom because I don't like that term, but you know what I mean, like on the scale, who's embracing but who's scared?
I think by far those embracing it are early stage founders, right? Because they can see what productivity and efficiency means in a way to scale their business.
It's tangible, isn't it?
Time is money. Yeah. So for early stage founders, absolutely. For bigger businesses, it's more of a organizational change, structural change they're looking at. So it's a bigger piece. But I think you can do it in terms of breaking it down into teams. So looking at a certain team and how a certain team can improve, and maybe trying it in one team, and maybe it is the marketing team, because marketing is just set up so well for AI. To elevate to put the burners underneath your marketing team. it's not to replace the marketing team. Just think how much more efficient they can be, and I think that's the view. But certainly those who embrace it are those kind of owner manager, early stage founders, because they can see the whole picture of their business and how it can immediately have an impact.
Yeah, and when you're going around when you, like I said, spinning a lot of plates. Like last week, I was away for a little mini break, and in that time, but before I went, I made.
I don't know why I thought that's funny.
Was that unauthorised, Chris?
I just think the term mini break is just
Why
funny.
not? A couple of days, a little mini break. So I went.
I just imagine you on a coach
going around gardens
with a handbag like this.
I pictured Prosecco all the way, so there you go.
I was on my coach trip going around garden centres last week, and what I did before I set off on my little coach trip was I got AI to effectively schedule up and map out all the tasks that I would normally, for me to basically have some kind of presence at work as if I'd never left. I got it to take on that role for the week, and I scheduled it out. So the emails went out, so social media posts went out, so, things were happening in the background, so that when I came back to it, and the following few days after the coach had appeared back at the coach park, and I bought my succulents and all sorts, is that at that point I could see that things had just carried on, and I didn't. And when you're in a business where you maybe are like a solopreneur or someone who's in a smaller business, often when you take your foot off the gas, everything slows down, and then you have to rebuild that momentum. That momentum keeps going, and it's absolutely fantastic. But
the AI version of you was busy beavering away in the background.
Yeah,
exactly.
And, I'll just give you one simple example that we're implementing now. So we've hired someone to develop some technology for us, AI, which I've been struggling for a long time with getting newsletters out. It's just time consuming. Mm-hmm. And so now what we're developing is that our AI newsletter developer looks at my LinkedIn feed, looks at the rest of the director's LinkedIn feed. It trawls through, it picks out the best stuff. I give it the time frame. So let's say it's a summer newsletter. It'll look through the summer. This is everything we've been doing, and it puts the newsletter together for me and delivers it as an email to my inbox and says, can you approve? I look at the newsletter. If I'm happy with it, I hit approve, and it distributes it to a pre-organized set of channels. And it can do that monthly. It could do it daily. It could do it weekly, whatever I want to do. So that time saving is huge.
But it's built on your content, though, isn't it?
Built on the content we've already put together. So you're basically repurposing your content, but you're doing it in a smart way. You've written all that content. I don't write posts with LinkedIn with AI. It's just not authentic. But in fact, there's a few posts where I've actually signed off with not written by AI or written by a human or whatever, because it's so blatantly me, and I'm transparent and open, and I'll tell it warts and all, that there's no way AI can do that. But that's how people connect. And so I wouldn't have it producing posts, but I would have it maybe producing ideas and potential contents for posts, which you then turn into your post.
You can't have the everyone's terrified of an M dash, everyone's terrified of a rocket emoji, everyone's terrified of like the little like tick boxes, and there's lots of the whether you're, and there's lots of there's lots of words now which is annoying, because a lot of my language and the way I type and the words I use, I found are very similar to AI in the sense
Elevate.
It's quite
I've
upbeat.
used it 3 times, and that's an AI word. But I was using that before AI.
That's it. It's like I was using it before it was cool, but now you get that feeling of like. When I'm writing, I think, I don't want people to think and it really does make you reframe it. But I think we've covered a lot there.
That was brilliant.
That was amazing.
I think I could almost be a 2-parter.
I think.
I'd love to revisit.
I've got my question. Obviously, I don't know if you remember from last time. I do a question at the end.
You asked me what would my career be if I wasn't a coach and business advisor.
Wow,
mentor.
you remember that.
And I
That's
remembered my
amazing.
answer as well.
Was you traumatized? Is that why?
Yes.
But so the question I have this time is, which I think is quite a good one, and I know Chris was actually on the radio about this once as well. So this will be interesting. What is your most irrational fear?
My most irrational fear.
Yeah.
Wow.
We're getting deep.
That is
Irrational. It has to be irrational.
Well, yeah, because I thought we were talking about AI. People are scared of it. People are nervous.
Yeah.
I thought, actually, what is your most irrational
Yeah,
fear?
yeah. I used to have a lot.
Oh, used to.
I
used to.
faced
Your
fears.
phobia.
I've done so much work on myself.
Oh, we're not. Don't trigger him.
That unless you want this to take an hour and a half. But that's my whole role now is helping people not have irrational fears, and to see things as they are and see both sides of
But
things.
do you still have one though?
I don't, because they've all gone. I've worked on them all. I did have one when I had my property business, and it was, you know my story.
Yeah.
So, I won't go into it all.
Check
but
back
yeah,
the previous
yeah.
episode.
So, anyway, at the height of losing my multi-million-pound property business, and when it was all crumbling, I had a rational health and safety fear. And I got so bad that if I was... I've never told anyone this, by the way.
You had to tell thousands of people.
If I was driving behind a gas safety van, I would have to pull in and stop the panic attack.
Really?
If I saw a gas safety van, like a corgi van, that's how bad that got.
Oh my
Sometimes
gosh.
I'd have to go home if I
Jeez.
saw a gas safety van. That's how bad it got.
Wow.
I've never said that to anyone.
because-
not even my
because-
partner.
Oh
I've
wow!
got that
So
bad.
you've chosen our
I've
platform.
chosen
See, mine-
thousands, and you know when I was saying I was open, and that's how bad it got, because obviously I was losing everything at the time, lost millions, lost house, lost everything. It got to that point where all of that was all right. I could handle it, but I couldn't handle a gas safety van.
Wow.
So there's
Well,
my
that was-
irrational fear.
I mean, mine's
But I don't
gonna-
have it now. No. You know, show me pictures of corgi. Show me corgi logos. I'm cool now.
But mine is actually really silly in comparison. Like yours was really deep and emotional and wow.
It's still irrational though.
It's
very
okay.
irrational. Highly
So
irrational.
John did.
Yeah, you
So
did
John
answer
did
it.
fulfill
I mean,
the brief.
do you want to go next or shall I?
No, you go.
So my most irrational fear, and people who know me will know this, my genuinely most irrational fear is I am terrified of peacocks.
Peacocks.
You are, yeah.
Oh, amazing.
I am like to the
Really?
point where like so I take my daughter to farm parks and stuff. I can't look at them. I can't go near them. The sound they make literally gives me like goosebumps. I think I was an aristocrat in a previous life who got like killed by one. But we went to Scone Palace a few years ago in Scotland, and they were like everywhere. They were on the roof. They were on by the entrance, and literally, this the tails, all of it just literally makes me. I will run away. And when I was a kid, I used to basically run as fast as I could from peacocks. And my mum used to just kill herself laughing at me more than anything. But yeah, that mine is probably, I don't have panic attacks related to it, but they do terrify me. And now you.
I'm really struggling because
I remember your answer on the radio.
Yeah, but my answer on the radio. But I've actually worked.
Changed since then.
I've changed since then. I have. There are certain. I'm quite particular about sensory things. So like dirt, smells.
You don't like anyone touching
Yeah,
your
I
watch
can't.
or
Yeah.
your-
Oh, yeah. So I had a weird thing.
Loads of them then, Chris.
Yeah.
He's a wreck.
I had a weird thing that I've only gone back to a watch after about 15 years or so, because I used to have an irrational fear. I mean, this is gone now, and I've dealt with this. Because I used to have a really nice bracelety, bangly thing that I had, and I used to think it would cut my hand off.
Really?
And the same went for watches. I went for probably about 10 years where I had a fear that if I wore a watch, it would burn through my wrist and my hand would fall off.
Not a Barbie
Whoa.
doll.
So what could possibly have sparked that?
I have no idea. And it reached the point where, and I can't, and I find like, so like,
As a kid, I used to freak him out because if you put a finger in
yeah,
his
so like that'll make me quite. So if someone the idea of having that's like putting a hand, like someone putting a hand under here would make me feel quite ill. But things like I can't, the idea of something. So like, I don't know, an example of, say if like a fork falls on the floor or something, some food falls on the floor and someone goes, oh, 5 second rule. I have to leave the room because I can't, the thought of it, just, I can't, you know, not that I'm a kind of a clean germaphobe. It's just it's almost the feeling of that disruption.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Wow, this turned into a therapy session.
That's good, Dave. I've got a current fear, if you want that.
Oh, yeah?
And it's real.
Yeah.
I have committed that if I haven't lost my target weight by my birthday of November 25th, that I'm going to wear a Newcastle black and white shirt and post about it. And post a picture.
Oh, man.
That's my current fear.
Oh, you've gone too
I've gone too far. Yeah, I've gone too far.
Oh,
Yeah.
and we've suddenly, our listenership has halved.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what I would do to wear a Derby County shirt.
Oh, God.
The black and white shirt as well, is it?
Yeah.
I mean,
I just can't.
I'll leave that one with you.
I can't imagine that eventuality.
Or, I mean, you know, it's a real fear.
This has turned into a bald man's therapy session.
Yeah, it's turned into bald, you know.
I did, but so John, where can our listeners find you? Can you plug yourself in?
Plug myself into LinkedIn. Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably the best spot to find me. I'm always on LinkedIn. If you go to visit my website on LinkedIn, we've got a nice sort of little 2-minute few questions to find out how we can help you, which people find really interesting. And and can I plug a couple of other things? I mean, this is Sunderland based. 3rd of October, we've got an amazing event, Growth Lab, which is a big event, which is all around personal branding. We've got some incredible guests. It's going to be fun. If you've ever been to Growth Lab, you'll know how fun it is. And I think personal branding is super important in this AI world, as we've been talking about. And that's me. So and come and visit us at Is This You?
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much, John. And that is a wrap on this episode of Looks Like We Made It. Thanks for tuning in, whether you're here for the video marketing insights, the storytelling magic, or just to hear me and my dad talk shop. We drop new episodes every other Tuesday, so hit that follow button and stay tuned for tips, real life experiences, and behind the scenes stories from the world of content creation. If you want to keep the conversation going, you can find us on Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and our website. Just search for Howl Media and say hi. We'd love to hear your thoughts, answer your questions, or even have you on the show, just like John. If you've got a great story to share or fancy joining us for a chat, just like John, drop us a message. We're always looking for inspiring guests just like John. Until next time, keep creating, keep storytelling, and remember, every great piece of content starts with an idea, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye for now.
Thank you very much.